Innovation and Open Government Initiative is a new idea that came out of the Prime Minister's office, actually. And it's very exciting. And one example I showed you, there was a picture where a group of villagers were speaking to the president. That's where there's going to be a lot more money, because I think that the government of the United States and India sees tremendous potential. In this case, it's India and a village, but in the United States, it's for us too. There's new technologies that will allow remote communities to connect to the center, also to be held accountable. This is a big issue. As new technologies come online, whether you're in a city or a remote place, new technologies can make governance more accountable. And that's exactly why the Prime Minister and President want to push this really for both countries. So very, very exciting development. I think that one of the interesting aspects of this is that technology might lead this more than government. You think about cell phones. Cell phones changed the world, and they did so without government. Cell phones, suddenly a goat herder in Kenya could get the best price on goats with a cell phone, and it made him powerful, and it changed his world. And that's happening in India as well. It's happened in the United States, so very exciting in that way. Clean energy and climate change. It's a little bit early yet. I haven't read the details of the Cancun Agreement, but how many? You guys all know Cancun's going on right now. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of heads nodding. So we got to read what that agreement was, and I admit I haven't, but that's coming out. So everything that we talked about in Copenhagen. Actually, I'm seeing this as a new slide because we do have some Cancun in there. There is a new agreement that people are talking about in Cancun, which I hope will pull everyone together. India and the United States seem to be on the same side on that, which is a great thing. I think the big holdout, I understand, Cancun was Bolivia. Ton of other areas where we are working on collaboration. There are companies investing in the United States in shale gas and other things. There are U.S. companies looking to invest here in India. There's wind. There's so many other areas. We signed an MOU to establish a joint clean energy research center. A lot of these issues are still being sorted out on how we're going to do that. We signed another one creating a U.S.-India energy cooperation program. And then, of course, there's the whole nuclear deal. I'm not 100% sure if I have a slide about that or not. But the nuclear deal is coming. And we all know about nuclear liability. It's been an issue. It's an issue at some levels for the French and Russians as well. I'm confident we'll find some solutions to that. That's all part of the solution to India and its energy needs for the future. So lots happened there. One interesting development. They created an MOU which will create a new global disease detection center in New Delhi, which will contribute to the safety of the world, frankly, in terms of monitoring things like pandemics, influenzas, things like that. So, big event. They also agreed to do an India-U.S. higher education summit. I believe this is going to be in Delhi. I believe it's going to be under the auspices of our Ministry of Education, our Secretary of Education, and presumably similar on the Indian side. That has to be sorted out yet. Be sometime next year. It's a huge development. As you all know, because you did a fantastic summit as well, there are many summits that have occurred here in India, and the relationship, again, between India and the United States and educational institutes is amazing. I can't tell you how many times I've run into U.S. educators at events here who are working with Indian educators, and we didn't even know about it. And you know what? We're happy, because there are so many connections. We couldn't begin to get involved even sometimes. There's so much going on. So it's great that on that people-to-people basis, it's happening. It's connecting. And that I think is very exciting. So, okay, I got a new slide here. Highlights the November 8th address to Parliament. Okay. We talked a little bit about that already, so I think I'm gonna zip right through that. Future challenges and opportunities. One of the biggest areas that I think you're going to see a big change on is space cooperation. There's an Assistant Secretary of State in India right now down in Bangalore. His name is Jeff Pyatt. Some of you may have met him. He used to be in Delhi. And he's working with ISRO right now on a couple of agreements where we're going to collaborate on space agreements and space projects. How many people know, I'm sure you do know, about the ISRO project, which was also a NASA project to shoot a rocket. It was called, what was it called? Chandra to the moon. The experiments on that rocket were from NASA, so it was a collaboration. I think you're going to see a lot more of that. And that's going to be very exciting. They're talking specifically about projects for the moon. And so it'll be great to see the U.S. and India flags together going up there. I mentioned CIVNU cooperation. I think you'll see a lot more about that. There's a lot going on in export control realignment. I think, frankly, there needs to be more. But a lot of the restrictions that were placed on goods are being removed. I think that there are some dual-use products that probably need further review. We need to work on non-proliferation cooperation. And, of course, there's a tremendous opportunity to do more in Afghanistan. There's a dialogue going on right now with our embassy here in India and in Afghanistan about how India and the United States, collaborate together to stabilize Afghanistan. So I think that's a huge and exciting development. What I wanted to do now is I'm hoping some of you will be interested and ask some questions. That's it in a nutshell. I'm sorry we didn't get the pictures better because I have these beautiful, clear, crisp pictures up here of the president, and he looks fantastic, I have to say. So I want to thank all of you for your support in keeping the Indo-U.S. relationship together. That is the future. And it's organizations like the Indo-American Society that help us stay together and help us work issues. I do wish we could have figured out a way to get more people together to see the president, but one of the interesting problems that we face is that the U.S.-India relationship is so vast that the president actually saw thousands of people. If you look at his schedule, he actually hardly got any personal time, and it still wasn't enough. And whereas if the French Consul General is a good friend of mine, so I could say French or I could say Italian, Russian. Those relationships are tiny, and so you can pull everyone together from some of these other groups, and the president can see all 50 companies that are working in the country. You can't do that with the U.S. and India. It's thousands, and so this is the challenge that we face in our relationship. So I wanted you all to know how grateful I am because you're carrying the flag for India and the United States in the future. So with that, why don't I throw this out for questions? If there's an area which you would like me to address that we didn't talk about, I don't want to bore everybody. So I know we're shooting probably what 7:30. I don't know. Anyways, so can I address any particular area, foreign policy, sir?
During this visit, I was in USA itself in Washington. Now, before the visit, during the visit, and after the visit, all Indian papers and the electronic media were flooded with that the Obama was visiting India. But there not even a single trace in Washington papers. What could be the reason?
Well, there is a difference in some ways in the way our press operates, and one of the first things I tell you is newspapers in the United States are going defunct. So keep that in mind. India is I believe, the only country in the world. There may be a few others in South Asia where newspapers are actually thriving. And so, first of all, if you were looking for news in the newspapers in the U.S., you were looking at something that's actually, they're all going out of business.